I'm sharing exactly where I shared with Yashmita, okay, on FB Messenger. Ask her to check. I've shared already. Hello. Hello. Hi, Yashmita. Can you hear me? Hey guys, so as promised, I'm live here in front of you for the SHEROES Masterclass, and my topic is how to become a published writer. So, when I talk about becoming a published author, let me share my story first because a lot of you might know me, but for those who don't know about me or my book, you should really know what my journey was like. So 2 years back, I actually started. I had this dream that I wanted to become a writer, but I actually had no clue how to go about it because I see nobody in my family has differently, taken a different route where they've tried different things, and I was just on my own. 2 years, I wrote the book. I traveled across India and Europe. I was looking for a story. I did a job first, and then eventually I quit my job and took some freelance assignments to actually, finance my life, I would say, in a way. But the vision of writing a book or completing a book was something that sort of pulled me so strong those 2 years that I finally completed the book. After completing the book, when it came to publishing, it was as hard for me to get published as it is for anybody else in India. And I wrote to a couple of publishers, never really heard back. So then I switched on to direct publishing. So I decided to take the Kindle direct publishing route, which is a way where you self-publish your novel through Kindle. Once I started getting good reviews and readers really liked my book, I finally got a publisher who's Invincible, based out of Gurgaon. So here in today's masterclass, the whole idea is that you guys, if you have any questions regarding how to become a published author, come across, ask me, and I put in all the effort so that I can help you make a move yourselves. If it is writing that you want to do, I would love to help you with that. And if there's any question that you want to ask me, just don't feel any kind of a hesitation. Just come forward and ask the question, and I would love to answer them all. So somebody is engineer Kumar Abhilash asks me that where are you from? I am not from anywhere because my dad worked with a bank, so I have stayed at a couple of places in India. I generally say my home currently is in Indore, but I'm based out of Gurgaon. So I think I'll start taking the questions as and when they appear on my screen. Kumar Vilash asks me, actually sings, he finds a medium to, meaningfully express his emotions and come out really strong. So I think for writers, if you're a writer and you do writing, it is something very similar, and it's going to give you a very good platform, emotionally when you want to come across. So I think, yes, writing does help everyone. It will help you. And if it is that you want to pursue it professionally, you can ask me any specific question and I would love to take it. Okay, if it is that you're asking, Abhilash, that you're from an engineering background, so if you're asking me that I'm from an engineering background, yes, I did engineering first. I also did MBA. I worked in companies for a while before I took the plunge and started writing. So yeah, if that answers your question. So I'm looking at more questions coming in my way. I have a cell phone here and I would be looking into those questions and answering them right away. Okay, so while I see that the live is on and a couple of people are joining in, I can share something more from my story that you would like to know. So a lot of aspiring authors actually ask me that how to complete a book. They always, find it a very, very intriguing question as to how somebody really completes a book, because what they believe is that, even if you write 8 to 10 pages a day, it should take you another 30 days to complete 300 pages, and then all the editing which goes into place. So how do you come up with a book which is finally edited in, like, let's say 250 to 200 odd pages, if I say about, the least that a book is or a novel is. So my answer to all those questions is generally start small, take baby steps, because if you say that you're a writer, right? So you need to write on everyday basis, wherever you are. I mean, there doesn't have to be really a place where you're writing. So I say that, you fix a place where you're going so that you build a routine. But even if you don't have that routine, let's suppose you are in a job and you take metro to your work every day. So while you're there in the metro for, let's say, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, it could be Uber, it could be any other transportation that you're taking. All you have to do is pen down your thoughts. You might not have a story or a plot in place initially. Initially, what you're going to do is just write what comes to your head. But eventually, when you have a couple of pages in which you have actually written something, the story starts to develop, the plot starts to develop, and you also start to think, delve deeper into what you've written, and you also see that how to, fix it. So there are actually two approaches. That one is top bottom and another is, bottom top. So you can either think of a plot line first, have a structure in place. That's what a lot of writers also do, and there's nothing wrong. Or you can have a bottom-up approach where you start writing whatever, whenever comes to your head, and you eventually fix it into a story. Lot of people go for a top-bottom approach because it's easier for them to have a plot and then conceptualize all the characters and then kind of describe each part of it. From my point of view, how I completed my first book, it was a bottom-up approach. The experiences that I used to have, the people I used to meet, the stories I would find around me, I would just start writing it on a piece of paper. I would make a voice memo if I did not have a paper. If I had a laptop, I would start typing in something. And eventually, when I had this whole idea or a lot of experiences into place, a story happened to me, and I wrote a story. And this is a completely different approach if you talk it against vis-a-vis. I would say top-bottom approach. A lot of people go for top-bottom. I actually went ahead with a bottom to top kind of a approach, but there's no one shoe fits all kind of a strategy. Writing is something which is very creative and impulsive. It can happen to you at any time, thoughts, ideas, and you do have to find a way how you structure it. But there's not a right way or a wrong way of structuring it. These are the two things that I've come across these two approaches. But you could have your own approach which could work well for you. All you have to do is that when you sit down after 10 days, you should know that what is it that you've written, what is it that you've actually come up with in those 10 days. Because a lot of writers, actually it happened to me when I did not really have a plan in place. What I would do is I would just sit down, I would write for hours. I was not meaningfully headed in a direction. So to get a direction and have a meaningful direction or sense where you are headed, it's also important to have a structure to your creativity. It's also important to sit down and see how much you've written so far. It's also important to sit down and edit those pieces which you've done. And this is how these small blocks eventually end up to a huge book. So the question from where we started, that how do you come up with 250 pages? Start small, start today, make a routine, and see what's the structure that fits you the best and that's like the best for you. So I have a question my way from Kabar Abhilash, which says, tell something about your book. So my first book, On the Open Road, which is now in market, is a fictional story. It is a journey of 3 characters who come forward from different of life, and eventually all I want to say from my book is that when the thoughts appear, if you start thinking that maybe I'll start writing tomorrow or the day after, that's a never-ending process and you would actually never start. So to complete something, it is very important that you start. It's important to dream, but then it's also important to have a plan. If you have a dream of writing a book, have a plan in place, write every day, and eventually, like I said, find your structure and get your 250 pages ready. So let me see if there are some questions that we've got right here from you guys. So okay, so I have questions in my phone and there's a bit of a lag, so please bear with me. I'm checking the questions and I'll start with it. So the first question that I'm going to take is from Priya. Priya says, how do I start? What do I write about if I want to write a book? Okay, so Priya, I think the first part of your question, which is how do I start, is something which I've already answered. So it gets redundant if I say that again. The second part of the question is pretty interesting, which is what do I write about if I want to write a book? So the topic is very, very essential thing. You should know what you want to write about. So I would say, first of all, see what your genre is. What is it that you like writing about? Generally, what you like writing about is something what you like reading as well. So if it is mystery or thriller, which is something that fascinates you and you think that this is something that I should try my hands at, go for it. If non-fiction is something, so see, fiction and non-fiction are completely two different ballgame altogether, because in fiction, it's more of imagination, it's more of storytelling, it's more of characters, it's more of how those characters, build up on their journey. In non-fiction, it's a lot more research-oriented. It's more, there's a lot of secondary research which goes into the place. So first of all, find what is it that you want to do. If fiction is something that excites you and you want to go ahead with fiction, like I'm a fiction writer, And if you don't really know what the story is, look around. I mean, there are stories everywhere. In the train that you take from your home to office or any place that you are, there's a story. Talk to people, because one of the things where I get my stories from is talking to people. When I say talking, it's more about starting a conversation and more of listening to what the other person has to say, because if it's a story, to listen to the other person, it's very difficult that you will get those creative ideas. So I would just say start writing, that's all. And I would say that if you don't really know what you want to write, just start penning down your emotions and feelings. Like I said, in the bottom to top kind of an approach, where you actually have pieces and then you fix them together to fit into a story or make a story. Look for stories around. That's one of the ways how you can figure out what is it that you want to write about. Or if there's a cause, something, a social impact that you want to create that actually moves you. So in my case, I really wanted to write about startups, because I think it is something which is, taken now very seriously in India. Like, people see it as a taboo, especially the middle class families. And I wanted a powerful story that helps people break free from that and think beyond those taboos. So you can also have an approach where you actually look or search for a problem in the society. Where's the problem? And then your book becomes a solution or an answer to that problem. So that's a reader, when he reads the book, he finds an answer. Basically, he finds a solution to his problem. So you have to see how you go about it. But all the best for your very first book. I hope you start writing from tonight. I think you should start writing 10 pages from today itself. Vidya asks me, hello Suti, how to get started with the process of writing. Okay, Vidya, a part of your question has already been answered when I said how do you make a start, how do you start writing those 10 pages, the structure, the approach, and finally how you reach your 250 pages. So how do we get started with the process of writing? I think this question has been mostly answered, because the process of writing is something that how do you write, and that's how, like I had answered, that first make a routine, write every day. Second, as in when a thought happens to you, don't let it go away. Be it your phone memo, be it your laptop, your diary, just note it down. Third, even if you don't have a story in place as of yet, write down your emotions, pen down your emotions, your feelings, maintain a diary. A lot of people do that, and it really helps them build onto their experiences, and they make a fictional story out of it. And finally, find out what the structure is that you want to follow, because if you have a dream, you also need to have a plan. And for that plan, a structure is very important, because if I just start writing and I don't really know where I'm headed, it's very difficult that within a time frame of, let's say, 5 or 6 months, I should be able to complete a book. So also have a plan, have a structure. Is it the small things that you want to write and then build up as a book, or is it the plot that excites you and you've written the plot already and now you want to, chalk down your characters according to your plot? So you need to find out what's the best approach for you, because the same thing doesn't work for everyone. And yeah, I hope I have answered the question. So all the best, Vidya. I hope you also start with your 10 pages from today. The next question is from Sairi, and Sairi asks me, how did you handle writer's block? And this is a very, very amazing question. Be it a startup founder or a writer, each one of us has a phase in life where we actually feel stuck. We feel that there's, no road ahead, and it's so difficult to move. Same happens with writers. I also feel at times that, there's a block, and now the ideas of creativity has just taken a backstage, and I have all this anxiety that this is something that I want to do. Now, how do I, what do I do? Like, this is what I thought of, doing for a living. And if I'm not having enough ideas, that's what happened to a lot of writers. How am I even going to survive? So it's very difficult that you have something to beat that kind of a stress. If what I do is I travel a lot, because travel gives me a lot of inspiration, and travel kind of, unblocks my writer's block. Now, how it unblocks is that when you're out of your routine life, when you get out of your comfort zone, you meet people, you meet strangers, and you know their stories. So as and when new experiences happen, the ideas automatically start flowing in. So for me, travel has always worked. If you think that travel is something that you cannot do very often, maybe because you have a family or kids or anything else that is important to stay, I think yoga or meditation is something which is very magical. Spend some time with yourself, do meditate, do some yoga, and once you have that kind of a positive thing coming in, you actually start the good thoughts actually start flowing out. So there's a rule which says if good things flow in, the good things flow out. So maintain it. Try that all the good things flow into you and all the good things come out, so you are able to do away with the writer's block. I hope, Sairi, you also write a book for Sheroes very soon. The next question is from Gracie. Gracie asks that, I have written a short story, 15 to 20 pages, which is very relatable to young Indians. Is there any way to get it published, or it is too short to be published? Hey, Gracie, I don't think that it's a very small thing to be published, because honestly, a lot of people criticize that with electronic mediums coming in, it is very difficult to, the people or the stories, the writers are writing short stories. The stories are getting shorter. But I think this thing which a lot of people criticize about will actually work for you, because now with ebooks coming in, the problem of length of a book is not very important. So, in archaic or, previous times, you need to write at least 45,000 words to be qualified as a novella, some 20,000 words, I guess, to be qualified as a short story. But now, with electronic mediums coming in, this is no more a restraint. What you can do is you can upload it right away on Kindle. So Kindle doesn't have a word limit. You can upload it on Amazon Kindle, and you can share it with your friends and family. Once people start viewing it and reviewing it, then Amazon makes sure that the books that are doing good are shown to more people, and this is how you can scale up. And this is a very, very cost-effective approach, because you are spending nothing. Like for paperback, if you self-publish, you're still going to pay for the cost of paper. But with ebooks, you don't pay anything, and this is the best way to reach out to your people. So like YouTube works for the musicians and all the artists, ebooks or Kindle ebook is something which works for the writers. So Gracie, what you can do is you can actually publish it on Kindle, or there are a lot of other platforms like Mojo Reads, Wattpad, Juggernaut Books. Even Juggernaut gives you a a platform to self-publish through their e-reader. So you can check out Juggernaut. That's very nice venture by Chiki Sarkar. And there are 3 or 4 other, electronic mediums. So I would say explore Amazon, explore Juggernaut, explore Mojo Reads, Wattpad. There are a lot many electronic platforms. Just upload your story, and that's how you go about it. The 4th question is anonymous. Do I need to take a formal course before I start writing? Does it help? And this is a very, very good question. So there could be 2 cases. A, that you are willing to shell out some bucks and buy a course. B, that you want to take a formal course, but you really don't want to pay for it. So what I did, because when I started, honestly, I was very tight on budget, because I had just quit my job and it was not possible for me to afford another 10-15K course at that point. So what I did, and which really worked for me, is that I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos. So if you go to YouTube and you search that fiction writing, non-fiction writing, you just put in those keywords onto the search pad, and then a lot of videos come up. So even TED has uploaded a video, TED Ed, which is TED's education initiative. So their TED Ed is a channel where they stream all the education related videos. And there also you find a video which is about fiction writing on books. Just go to YouTube, search. I think internet has a plethora of options else. So for the option, you don't write anonymous, you write your name. Meghna Mukherjee asks me, hello ma'am, I wanted to know if we need to follow the general rule like forward. Meghna Mukherjee asks me, hello ma'am, I wanted to know if we need to follow the general rule like forward, then introduction, then chapter 1, etc. How should the flow be, and which are the publishers we can contact for our book to be published? Oh wow, that's one hell of a question. Huge. I covered half of it. There's no general rule in life. That's what I believe. But a lot of people who are already there and established in the industry, especially I would say literature critics, if you talk about, they love to go by the rules. So there's no harm if you're not going by the rule. Like in my book, On the Open Road is written in small case, and my name is written in small case, with which a lot of critics would have a problem. But because my book challenges stereotypes, and I came from some thought process while I decided to keep it. I still have it like in small case, and I did not go ahead with the uppercase. It completely depends on you how you want to take. Really think that these things bother you and you want to be in the a problem with it. I did challenge and I do it all the time. So yeah, how should the flow answer? But in my case, we apply very soon because generally these publishers they have a lot of manuscripts coming in. So for them also it becomes very difficult to answer within a time frame. If you're willing to wait for 6 to 8 months before you get an approval, I would suggest you to go by this approach. If you think that your work is already ready and you don't want to wait anymore and you are good at marketing and you can reach out to readers yourselves, I would kind of suggest that you start writing. You self-publish it, and once you've self-published it, you start spreading it across the mediums. Do the marketing on your own, and then I think finally some good publishers gonna like your work and then they're going to take you aboard. That's not a challenge anymore. So it all depends on how much you're willing to wait. Good publishers are a plenty. If I name some and I don't name the others, I don't know. But Penguin is good, Harper is good, Westland is good. I mean, there are so many. So with your first book, don't really think about only 2 or 3 publishers. Send out your script to as many people as possible, because right now, as a first-time author, all you want to do is reach out to the readers. Your readers are important. If they like your work, trust me, any good publisher is going to come and give you a deal. So in the end, the whole deal is about getting a good bunch of readers. And you have to figure out how you go about it. So I hope Meghna also writes a book soon, and she writes her first 10 pages tonight. I'm going to check on each one of you, and I'll make sure that you're writing 10 pages. Now I have another question. Kaina Malhotra. Wow, what a lovely name. I think I can use it for the character in my next book. So Kaina asks me, hi Suti, when did your book first get published and when did you get your click that I want to write? Okay, so I started with Kindle Direct Publishing in November. There was a contest which was held by Amazon. Get your click that I want to write. Okay, so I started with Kindle Direct Publishing in November. There was a contest which was held by Amazon. It was called Pen to Publish, and I participated in that and I let my work out. After I got really good reviews, I finally approached another publisher for paperback, which is Invincible Publishers. They are based out of Gurgaon, and now they are looking into my distribution and everything from Gurgaon. So I participated in that and I let my work got really good reviews. I finally approached another publisher for paperback, which is Invincible Publishers. They are based out of Gurgaon, and now they are looking into my distribution and everything from Gurgaon. So yeah, that's how it happened. And so the paperback was published in March this year. And when did you get your click that you want to write? There wasn't a particular moment get your click that you want to write. There wasn't a particular moment actually when I started working. I was sure about what I did not like. I really wanted. I always have wanted to become a writer. It was really hard that this is not me, and writing is something that I would love to or I would want to do. And I started doing it. So I think it's all about recognizing, and once that recognizing thing happens, you just have to work hard and you can make a move anytime. So I don't think that's a big problem. And it gives you some inspiration and you start very soon. Abriti, lovely name. I don't know, all the people with good name are there with the Sheroes community. So it takes me 4 to 5 days. People with good name are there with the Sheroes community. So it takes me 4 to 5 days to complete the first draft of whatever I'm writing, and then demotivation comes in. How do you keep yourself moving and motivated to keep writing? Abriti, see, demotivation is gonna come. Like, there are going to be points where you're gonna feel that, I don't want to move forward. This is not something I want to do. And it just doesn't happen with writing. It happens with life. It happens with relationships. It happens with so many other things. What do you do then? You just change your environment. You change your perspective, and you're again another person. So if you think that after 5 days you're getting bored, leave it. Do something else. If gymming is something you love to do, do that. If yoga is something that excites you, do that. Do anything which is physical, which involves some sort of activity, because it kind of gives a rush to your head. If that's not the case, do reading. Reading is a good mental exercise, if not physical. So I think try a whole lot of or a whole bunch of different activities, go into a different kind of an environment. I'm sure that when you come back, the whole demotivation that was there goes away, and then you start writing again. And see, if this demotivation creeps in again and again, it excites you. Because see, if it is writing, that's your true calling. And if it is again and again, then you should question the choice. Makes the good hormones flow in your body. So you need to figure out first, and again, then you should question the choice that if it is writing, it could be something else that is something, which makes you happy and makes the good hormones flow in your body. So you need to figure out first, and yeah, and try activities. Yeah, it's always good to do some sort of an activity and get that rush back in your body and start doing what you want. Meryl asks me, hi Suki, what are the benefits of publishing on Kindle as opposed to publishing house? Which is a very, very nice question, and I would say it's a very thought through question, because with Kindle there are some pros and some cons, and with the traditional publishing there are some pros and some cons. So I'll tell you the pros of traditional publishing first, because that's how we've been operating for years, and self-publishing is something which is very, very new and which has just came in. So the good thing with publishing house is that you make money, you get some advances, proper marketing team in place, and your events and marketing is something which is handled by them, and you don't really have to do a lot of marketing thing. Four, when it comes to a plan, maybe a book tour or something, they're always on their toes, helping you out with everything, which is a little bit different when you do it on your own. So, reaching out to readers becomes easier, but in the end, I would say, a publishing house does have a role to play, and it matters what the publishing house is that you have. But an author has to be on his, toes. We have to work hard. Like in the end, it's you who's going to get the readers. It's you who wants, their work to be read, to be known, to be appreciated. So the hard work is almost equal, I would say. With publishing house, there's a bit of an advantage because you have a marketing team. But otherwise, if you talk about personal branding or anything else that you are doing, the hard work or the groundwork work is almost similar. With Kindle, the pros are that you don't have to wait for 8 to 10 months before somebody says yes or no to your script. You are your own boss. It's like your own venture. You have started it. But then when it becomes your own product or you're the boss of it, then you also have to make sure that there's nobody else to find those opportunities where you see that your work will grab somewhere, not do it. Pen, list what is it you want to get to the market faster. You can wait for 8 to 10 months. Are you good at marketing yourself? Or are you not that marketing person? I mean, you would need a team and play your own decision-making capability as to what is it that. So I all the stages, you can always get back to me. I'm there on the SHEROES community, aspiring writers community as well, and you can ask me there. I'll help you out. Hi Suki, I write with short stories or poems, etc. How can I publish it, and do we need to go with the flow, means trending stories? What should be the mode of writing? You the whole strategy of how traditional and how self-publishing works. With the second part of your question, where you asked that do you write about trending stories or what should be the mode of writing? I think be your natural self. There's the mode of writing. I think be your natural self. There's every day, but your originality of any day. You should love your work. I'm not saying that it's not important. But if you're like running after the trending stories, that whole originality or you in your work goes for a toss, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to be yourself, be original, and write what you love to write, what you want to do. Eventually, you would always know that what people have liked and people have not liked, but that shouldn't stop you from exercising your creativity. Explore what is it that you want to write. A lot more than what is it that people want to hear, or what is it that's trending. And then it all depends on what kind of genre it is that you want to write in. If it is a mass fiction book or a pulp fiction book which you want for the railway stations and for the masses, so you will have to write what they want to read. In that case, there's no talk of originality and all in that. But if it is something, if it's a masterpiece, if it's something good that you want to create, it all depends on what your TG is. Then I would suggest that don't do away with your originality. Be you. It is very important. Anonymous asks me, hello Stuti, I want to write a book like Harry Potter. How to start with? Please help me. Harry Potter. How to start with? Please help me. I think you need to talk to J.K. Rowling for that. She's gonna be the better person to J.K. Rowling for that. She's gonna be the better person to answer you than how to write a book like Harry Potter. How do you start with? I think you should write a book like Harry Potter. How do you start with? I think you should actually follow J.K. Rowling's journey. The writers that I really appreciate or look up to their journey, I've really seen that how they used to write, where they used to write, how the plot happened, how the story happened, and if it's something like Harry Potter, as amazing as Harry Potter, that's how the story happened, and if it's something like Harry Potter, as amazing as Harry Potter, that you want to write, and I'm sure that you can write, and you would be able to do it if you put in that amount of hard work. Because as much as I know from J.K. Rowling's experience, she has written Harry Potter over a course of 7 years or 6 years before the first book came to the market. Hit the market. So that's the kind of hard work and effort that she's put in. I really don't know how her writing process was like. For that, maybe I also need to do a research, and you can also do a research on the internet to see as to how she wrote a book like Harry Potter. But yeah, perseverance, 6 years of dedication, and all these things are something that you need to put in, and be good with exercising your imagination skills, with coming up with those unique characters that build your plot, because these amazing characters are something that are going to stay with people for long. We remember Hermione for other person for some other thing which they did in the book. So I think with a book like that, it's very important or essential that your characters are unique, aspirational, different, and what they're doing is something that everybody just loves to see. Siley asked me, how and where should I publish my first book? Which is the best option? You should publish your first book, I would say, on Amazon Kindle, but I don't think that's the best answer that I should give it to you, because it all depends on what are your priorities, Siley. If you want to hit the market soon and you think you're sound enough at marketing, I can help you with setting up a Kindle account. Even you can go to YouTube, watch the videos and set up, but you need to make sure that you put in a very you put in a lot of hard work in promoting it, because it's not going to be automatically visible on Kindle. Actually need to work on Amazon's algorithms. You need to see that there's a sort of sales happening every day. So you need to be very good at marketing. I would say social media is a very cheap method of marketing. You really don't put in a lot, and you can build a lot of organic audience. So that is something that you can start with. And if it is something that you can wait for, like it's like you can wait for another 1 year, I think you should go ahead with a traditional publisher. You should start writing to them from today itself, so that because if your book's like, I'm assuming that your script's in final place, like it's ready. So in that case, what you can do is you can actually start writing to publishers from today itself, and make sure that you write to at least 30 to 40 publishers, because it's your first book, and wherever you get a chance to be heard, don't mess with it or don't miss it. Just go ahead with it. So I think that's the best way to go about with your first book. See, I'm not somebody who can recommend you the best option, because a different thing has worked out for different people. But I have actually told you that how to list down your priorities. I have also listed the pros and cons. Now you have to make an educated decision as to how do you really want to go ahead with it. Given all the pointers, you need to set your priorities and then go ahead with it. If you can wait, I would say nothing like going ahead with a traditional publisher. Do it and apply to them, and once they accept your script, you will be there in the market. Now I have an anonymous question. I don't know why people are posting anonymously. Your questions are really good. Like, you can tell your names to me. Hello, Suti. What are the steps needed for publishing a book, or I should script? You write a synopsis, which is like a summary of your book. So you'll find a lot of articles on the internet which actually explains to you how to write a synopsis. It's basically telling all the action that happens in the story and what's the learning or the takeaway that somebody's going to have. It's much like how summary used to work when we used to read English while we were still in school, and that's how it actually works. So, what are the steps needed for publishing a book, or I should say, storybook? The first step is you complete your work. Second step is you complete a synopsis. Third is you start writing to publishers and wait for their revert. And if you want to do away with this third step, the another option is self-publishing, which I've been talking about quite lately, like from the beginning of the video. That is how I started. So it's called KDP, Amazon KDP, which is Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. And what you can do is actually put your work out there on Kindle, have people, take a look at it, let them give you reviews and all, and then you can eventually approach to publishers saying that these are my sales numbers, so these are the figures, these are the number of books I've sold, and why not, let's go ahead with a contract with you. And that's how you can approach in the second stage. So see, a book never dies. If a book never goes out of shelf, it actually never dies. So every 2 years, if your book is still in the market, you have an option to revise the contract, change the publisher, do a lot of things, because a book is going to be there. Even you hold the copyright even after dying for 70 years. Your family is going to get the royalty for that book if that book is still in the market. So you can start with another publisher, revise the contract. It's a long lifeline. It's not like a product, a technical product, which is gonna come and sharply die if you don't make any changes. A book stays if it's a good book, and you always have options. So you just start and you see where the journey takes you. Hi ma'am, I have read many novels and I also want to write a book, but the problem is my English is very poor. So how to fulfill my dream to write a book? See, English is just a medium. But a story is a story. You can write it in Hindi. It really doesn't matter. You can get it translated. So I'll tell you a very good example. So The Alchemist, if you've read the book Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, it was initially written in Portuguese. Very less people know that it's a Portuguese book. It is a Portuguese book which was so amazing, and it was so amazing. It never died out of shelves. It is still there in crossword stores anywhere you go, on the bestseller list. And that book was afterwards translated into a lot many other languages than Portuguese. So find your language, where you're comfortable. It could be Hindi. It really doesn't matter. If people like your story, you can easily get it translated into the number of languages that you want. A publisher would help you with that very easily. And you can be as big as Paulo Coelho someday. All he did was, he had a dream and he was working hard for it. He never knew that, this book is going to be in English or some other language someday. He just wrote his heart out in Portuguese, and see where he is today and how magical the book The Alchemist is. So it really doesn't matter what Hindi अच्छी लगती है, आप हिंदी में लिखिए, Punjabi अच्छी लगती है, do that in Punjabi. You write in the language you want to. Translation is never an issue. It's always a story, and it has to touch people's hearts. It has to be emotional. That's how you need to connect with the readers, and that's something which is very important. As a self-publisher, which site must we choose, like Juggernaut or Amazon? Any one of them, both are amazingly good. You can check out where are you getting better royalties, because eventually Juggernaut or Amazon is just going to be a platform. You have to market your work for yourself. So I think you can go ahead with any of them, considering where you're more comfortable uploading, where do you think you get more reach. I think Amazon has a bit more reach than Juggernaut, but Juggernaut is also a very nice platform. So you look into what's your priority. If on Juggernaut you see that you're not able to monetize, but on Amazon you're able to monetize from day one. So I think you should go ahead with Amazon. Okay, so now we are running out of time. I have 5 more minutes and I have a lot of questions to take up. So I'll take these questions a bit. As a self-publisher, okay, so Anonymous asks me, as a self-publisher, then we have I write poems in Hindi. How can I earn with my writing? Kindle is a very good way of earning from your writing. Upload your work on Kindle. You have 2 options, 70% royalty and 35% royalty. Go ahead with the 70% royalty option. There you are also into the Kindle Direct Publishing, list, and a lot more. It helps you reach a lot more readers. It's called the KDP Select program. You can actually enroll for that. Go to KDP, check their videos, and it's going to really help you. So if it's about monetizing, start with Amazon. Vidya Anup Kumar asks me, I'm amazed with your energy level on how you are promoting your book, your dream project. All the best and hope to do well. Oh wow, this is not a question, but that's a appreciation and something really amazing that has come my way and made my day, obviously. So thank you, Vidya. Thank you so much. Your wishes are there with me. I think I'm going to do wonders. Gayatri asks me, I have written around 15 poems and 1 short story, working on my debut novel now. But all these works have only remained within the bounds of my diary. I'd like to publish them, but I don't know where. problem. So this is the final question I'm taking. And what I'm going to tell you is that this is the biggest problem that a lot of us have. We are so afraid. We just want to stay in our shell, in our comfort zone. We really don't want to explore. If it's in your diary, I would just ask you, why is it there in your diary? If you think it's amazing, you should take your work out, reach out to readers. If you're the shy kind of a person, start with your family or your close friends. And I'm telling you, once you get that appreciation, Canadian poet called Ruby Kaur, she's very famous and she's done amazingly well in the last 2 years. You can check her Instagram account as well. She used to write poems in diary, and see, when she started narrating it on stage and she wrote a book, where is she today? So if it is something that you're sure of, that you love to do, please don't find that hesitation. Get your work out in the public eye. I mean, being a writer, you would always be criticized and judged for your work, but then don't let it affect your dream, or don't let it affect what you want to do. If it is a book that you want to publish, if it is those 15 poems and a short story that you want to publish, go ahead with it. I mean, go ahead with self-publishing, if not anything else. So start with your family, friends. Once you get that kind of a confidence, you know that, okay, now I'm good enough to go ahead with a platform. Choose a platform, which could be Amazon, Juggernaut, or any other platform. Go ahead, monetize through your work, share your work on the social media. I'm telling you, Gayatri, if it is something which is amazing, people are going to love it and you're going to do really good. But the thing is that you need to get out of your shell. To do anything extraordinary or to do anything that you want to do, you have to come out of this feeling. So if it is something that you're feeling every day, that I'm very shy, I don't want to get it, no, just get out of it. Just show it to your family, show it to your friends, get that confidence and get your work out. Because 15 poems is a good number. You can easily get published like on paper. So why keep it in your diary? Share it with everyone. When people start liking it, you'll feel so good about yourself. And that's how I see it. I hope you do that very soon and you can keep in touch with me. So yeah, with the last question, I would just say before signing off, hope that you guys enjoyed as much as I did. And if there's any question that's still remaining, I am there active on the Sheroes Aspiring Writers community. I am there on the Career Guidance community. You can easily reach out to me on my profile. I'm also very active on my social media channels, Tuti Changle, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can reach out to me there through Sheroes, however you feel like. And if there's anything that I haven't answered today, and if you want me to help you with that, I would be glad to help you with that. And you can reach out to me without hesitation. So for everyone who has their book in their diaries, please take it out. I have told you a lot of ways to get it there. And yeah, just do keep. And I would end the live with a note: raise your game. That's what Sheroes is doing, which is very fantastic. We guys need to. Hmm, 2 minutes. Yeah, Yashmita, can I end the screen? No. I just ended the video, but yeah, I've done that because I have to leave this conference room and it's already 17 minutes above. Yeah, I can just do end, right? And it will stay.